Our next guest is Conservative MP Ted Opitz. He is one of 5 Conservative and Liberal MPs visiting Israel right now. They were invited by a Jewish advocacy group called the Centre for Israel and Jewish Affairs. They will not be visiting Gaza. Ted Opitz joins us now over the phone from Jerusalem. So what have you been seeing there today?
Well, Nazmi, this is our first day. It's just a couple of days, and we're in Jerusalem right now. We've had a lot of meetings with a lot of experts on the ground. There were a couple of sirens that went off, and I'm not sure if they were just false alarms or others, but we heard that happen. So we're studying the issues right now, and we're looking at what's going on in Gaza. Certainly, as parliamentarians, we come here to study the issue. The CJA has made available the opportunity to do that, and I'm delighted that they have, because there's no better way of observing the situation unless you're on the ground.
Will you be going to Gaza?
No, because Gaza is unsafe, and that puts other people at risk, including those that have to protect parliamentarians entering Gaza. It's an unreasonable risk to ask others to undertake.
So what are you hoping to accomplish?
Look, we're looking at the situation overall between Hamas and Israel. This is something that is obviously Canada would like to see resolved. Canada is supporting Israel's right to defend itself. It does. Hamas is a terrorist organization. I have to disagree with Lloyd Axworthy earlier. Canada has done a tremendous amount. We're just not on the bleachers cheering. We've given $66 million in additional support to the Palestinian people in both Gaza and the West Bank, and an additional $5 million to support economic development in the West Bank and Gaza just this past fall. And, he mentioned blockades, but, building materials have been coming in to Gaza, and instead of building schools, hospitals, and other infrastructure needed by the Palestinian people and looking after the social needs of the Palestinian people, Hamas has found a way to weaponize building materials and build tunnels and other things, and spend the money on rockets to fire at Israel. I have to remind you that Hamas has broken every ceasefire and continues to fire missiles into to Israel. And Israel didn't start this. It started with Hamas firing rockets into Israel.
With Lloyd Axworthy's comments and saying that Canada's in the bleachers, is there anything that Canada could have been doing in the last 3 weeks or in the future to try to help reach some sort of an agreement?
Okay, Canada's working hard on both sides. We support a two-state solution. We support the fact that both parties have to sit down and ultimately work this out. But it's a hard thing to do when you're negotiating with one group whose charter, in the first few lines of the charter, advocates the destruction of Israel. That's a very difficult place to start the negotiations at. So Israel has a very difficult road ahead, because they have to, in my view, eliminate the ability of Hamas to continue to wage war and fire rockets at Israel. But Canada continues to, as I've just said, that's a significant amount of money that we've given. We're supporting the two-state solution. We're supporting the fact that both Israel and Hamas have to resolve this in time. We applaud, by the way, the role that Egypt is playing and that the Palestinian Authority is playing in trying to mitigate the issues between the two. So Canada is using its diplomatic prowess. Minister Baird is engaged in this file constantly and monitors it very, very closely. And Canada is engaged as can possibly be.
So you're hosted by the Centre for Israel and Jewish Affairs, and you won't be going to Gaza. So what will you be doing with the rest of your time there in Jerusalem?
Well, I can't tell you about the itinerary tomorrow for security reasons. But what we're doing is we are meeting with a variety of experts. We are going to visit particular sites of note and be able to make assessments as to what is going on in terms of the conflict between both parties. I'll be able to tell you more later, but at this point in time, for security reasons, I can't divulge what tomorrow's itinerary is going to be.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That is Ted Opitz, an Ontario Conservative MP, joining us over the phone from Jerusalem.